Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now, Hytale Update 5 Part 9 has just gone live, and this part has introduced server discovery. Now, I thought I'd show you guys what it looks like before we get into the patch notes, as I know a lot of you guys will want to see. And then after this is the final part of Update 5, and next week on the 26th of May, Hytale Update 5 will be fully releasing for the game. If you guys enjoyed today's video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe because it really supports me, and let's get in with the video. So first of all, let's get into the servers because this is what it looks like. So if you go to the pre-release and you go to the obviously and update that, it's about 1.6 gigabytes. You go to servers and here you will see exactly the brand new discovery. This will show you obviously your favorites, your recently played private. You got the search tab there as well. You have a filters search, which as you can see, everyone, teen, mature. We have survival, adventure / RPG, creative, PvP, minigames, roleplay, social, sandbox, and other. We also have the regions you can apply, and when you've done that, you will notice that in the discovery page, you will be able to find it. Of course, you can still do it the OG way by adding a server, but of course, I know many of you are going to be excited for this update to officially go live, and we'll be able to dive straight into the world of Hytale, and I'm super excited. Anyway, let's jump into the full patch notes now, and let me know your thoughts on this. Okay, so here we are on the pre-release patch notes, Update 5 Part 9, May 25th, 2026. Headline features. Explore new worlds with server discovery. Server owners may now submit their servers via the server profiles section of the Hytale account page. Servers that meet the server owner policies and pass manual review will appear in the new in-game server discovery page. Explore featured servers handpicked by the Hytale team, and these are high quality experiences highlighted for the community to enjoy. Discover your next favorite server, search by title or description, filter by tags, and see how many players have liked or favorited it. Easily return to your servers you've enjoyed by marking them as favorites or accessing your recently played list. This feature is not available on parent managed accounts. Customize items further with the per stack name and description overrides. Give individual item stacks unique names and descriptions with rich formatting, including colors, bold text, perimeters, and nested messages. Supports a wide range of use cases, from shop systems displaying prices to RPG systems surfacing stats, and loot systems conveying lore. Very cool. Simplifies Chinese is now available in-game, and the game can now be translated into Dutch, Finnish, Italian, and Norwegian via Crowd-In. To participate in the translation, simply create a Crowd-In account, then visit our project page, select the language you like to translate, and apply. Once approved, you'll gain access to the project and can begin submitting translations. Right, so in we go with combat items and equipment. Short bows and crossbows now have additional checks to prevent attacks or signature abilities being used if they have no durability remaining. Crossbows have an additional check to prevent reloading if they have no durability remaining. World and blocks. Small trash piles and large trash piles may now be broken with weapons in adventure mode. Small trash piles and large trash now can all drop trash when broken. Improved World Gen V2 thread allocation to improve server stability during intense workloads. UI and quality of life. You can now set key bindings to use modifiers on mouse buttons, and the social sidebar UI has been given some cosmetic adjustments. Now for the modding and creative tools. Trigger volumes may now define conditions that gate when effects are triggered. These conditions can include information related to player permissions, game mode, inventory state, cooldowns, or random chance. Effects are now classified as either success effects or rejection effects. Conditions and effects are evaluated per event, allowing a single trigger volume to respond to multiple event types. Trigger volumes can now respond to additional events such as tags being added or removed, or blocks being placed or broken, and conditions may be used to filter these events. The trigger volume UI has been updated, merging the list, edit, and quick setting interfaces into a single panel. This comes with numerous additional features such as the ability to duplicate effects, reposition effects with the list, collapsible categories, improved visibility of group inheritance, and separation of different events, and more. Trigger volumes may now affect the entity that is the source of a projectile. Trigger volume delete/disable/enable events for tagged volumes have been merged into the existing non-tag effects. For example, delete tag volumes into delete volumes. Added a texture compute color property to item assets calculated via a dominant weighted color average of each block's textures. Added prefab base check options to improve the placement of larger prefabs in World Gen V1 by checking additional points around the base to ensure the terrain is suitable. And added a /knockback command for debugging purposes, which can apply a knockback to yourself or entity being aimed at. As for the audio, they've implemented the ability to pitch shift for audio and properly decompose audio categories so they can better be used as ducking lanes later. Modders may use this to modulate the pitch of running audio by server set audio states. Bone blocks now have updated sounds when hit, broken, and walked on and landed on, and reeds now play a sound when broken. Now we're into the bug fixes. So movement. Items may now be dropped while sprinting. Sprinting will now end immediately once stamina has depleted. Players will no longer be forced out of toggleable input actions such as walking, crouching, or sprinting when changing elevation. Rolling should now again be possible for the entire intended roll duration and play the corresponding sound. Sliding should now be again possible upon exiting rolling. Falling through non-solid blocks that slow the player will now correctly impact velocity, and travelling very short distances with signature abilities should no longer result in an unexpected amount of fall damage. Combat entity and item fixes. Fix the crash that could occur with an armor with equipped interactions such as debug items. Fix the crash that could occur when an NPC gets untracked in an unloaded chunk. Fix the crash that could occur when NPCs were spawning near walls or obstacles. Broodmothers will now only spawn louses when there are none nearby. When crafting, items will no longer be considered valid components in their own recipe. Blocking with spears will no longer display the blocking UI. Bare hitboxes have been modified to include more of its head. World and block fixes. Larger prefabs will now respawn on more level ground to prevent floating structures. Lanterns now require a tool or fist to break. Coffins that have been opened now require a tool to fist to break, and removed a floating block from the forgotten temple. Creative and modding plugin fixes. Left clicking with the builder tools other than the paint tool will no longer overwrite the selected material with air. The machinima tool's playback speed fill will no longer immediately re-snap back to 60. Entities that the entity tool interacts with will no longer despawn. Fixed an issue with the trigger volume tags not saving between sessions. The /gmask load command will now correctly work when loading a mask preset. Game mode side effects such as adjusting lighting will now wait until the server confirms you have a permission. This prevents screen flickering from occurring when some commands are used. Reloading an asset pack will no longer cause all item and block entities to reset to 1.0 scaling. The fly camera can once again be activated in creative mode and only activated in creative mode. Modded NPCs that use action spawn will now be correctly aiming logic and launch NPCs far more accurately at targets. Fix list position provider corruption when used as a child of scalar position provided or offset position provider. Fix distance to biome edge density context not being passed to gradient nodes when used terrain density in the biome's material provider. Trigger volume delay effects will now work correctly if trigger volumes are present in multiple worlds. Item entities placed by the entity tool will now show the pick up hint interaction again. Entities modified by the entity tool should no longer despawn. Changing collision hitboxes of entities with the entity tool no longer requires you to switch to the none option first. and entity or item entities placed with the entity tool can no longer be picked up by walking over them. UI and display fixes. Fix the crash that could occur with the bug reporting interface. Fix the crash that could occur with map markers. Screen fade effects that occur during world transfers will now continue if the player is kicked from the server during the effect. The top navigation bar will now display when accessing the settings from the main menu. The cursor locator will overlay will no longer display in parts of the creative inventory when no item is present. The UI will no longer suggest that you can tame the corpse of a creature that has just been killed. Sorry, necromancers. Weapon VFX trails will now be positioned correctly. When a player dies mid-attack, their weapon will no longer continuously display trails slash effects. When a player joins a portal world, the folder name will no longer be included in the message. The bug reporting interface will now correctly count the number of attached files and fix some typographical issues or errors. And finally, audio fixes. The sounds that are being played upon taking damage and upon dying will no longer overlap, and volume settings will now be applied to the selection tool. So that fully finishes the entire of Update 5. Next week, Update 5 will be officially going live on Tuesday. Prepare yourself, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.